This is All Hitches, the Nova Football Podcast.
Yo, tune in, lock in, it's the All Hitches Show. Dash and Dan on the mic, let the Nova tales flow. From the booth to the field, we hitch up the truth. All Hitches Podcast, drop the beat, here's the proof. Dash and Dan in the cut, bringing heat to the game.
All right, welcome back to All Hitches, Nova's #1 football podcast. Coach Mesa, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm thawing out. It's a balmy 47 degrees. I feel like I should be wearing flip-flops and a tank top outside.
Dude, I'm telling you, all of a sudden, when you hit the 40s, it feels like the 50s or 60s.
It 1,000% did. This morning, we I got to school and I got my car and I was like, man, it feels warm out here. Like
It does, and if you look at the week ahead coming up,
yeah,
there might be some 60s and high 50s in the forecast.
Yeah, and now there's slush all over the streets. Like
that's a problem.
That was everything driving to work. I was like, did it rain last night? But it's because it never got below freezing, so the ice just continued to melt all night. That's
the tip of the day. As all this stuff melts, don't wear your nicest shoes. Right? Don't wear your nice, because if you step in grass, you're going in a nasty, gross pile.
Yeah.
You know, you can walk on, if you're staying on cement, I guess you're fine. But other than that, don't wear any nice shoes on grass or any kind of soft surface.
That, and all right, so you're well versed in this, and I've been here years, but I still, when do you wash your car? Because like my car is covered in salt right now, but like
covered in salt. It's
every
not
day,
good for your car. It's not good for the undercarriage.
But every day, but
I know it's horrible.
Be like that every day. Like, do you have to wash it every day? Do you have to?
We need a good rain, and I don't know if there's any good rains. They say there might be some on the horizon.
Yeah, next week, right? Next week it's gonna be like 60 degrees and rain.
That might bring in that warm air. Give us I want a lot of rain. Watch all that salt away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy winter so far, and only about a month left though. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there.
It'll be March 49, right?
You know. I mean, speaking of getting there, these schools and these ADs are getting there in terms of their hires, aren't they?
Finally, we get some hiring, right?
I mean, they really are. Like, they're moving fast now, and we want to say congratulations. We alluded to it on the combo episode, the big Mega Powers episode, which we got a lot of good feedback on. By the way, people loved it. So shout out to our guys, Brent and Andrew.
Yeah.
That was and Wes. That was a fun time.
You mean my cousin Andrew?
Your cousin Andrew. That's right. It's amazing. And you make
right?
desserts for him, and you don't even give them to me or Brent. Thanks a lot, buddy. We appreciate it. We alluded it though. We alluded to it out on that show, and we said it's down to two guys. Congratulations, Aziz, our good friend, Coach, the new coach of the Oakton Cougars.
Yeah, winning pedigree, right? Multiple district championships, Coach Aziz, and going to take over an Oakton team that is ready to win now.
They are locked and loaded.
Not a project, Coach Slade done a pretty good job with them for the last few years, and he stepped away, and Coach Aziz walked into a lot of talent over there for the Oakton Cougars in a very difficult district though over there.
Tough conference for sure. It's one of those gigs, right? You got it's the veteran coach taking over the team that's ready to win now.
Yeah.
Talking about Phil Jackson going to LA.
That's the name that came
right. Aziz is that guy. Talking about when Gruden went to Tampa.
Gruden went to Tampa.
Right. Yeah. It's okay. Look, we got a stacked team, and now's the time.
And then Dungy goes to Indy, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Or we could say good old Coach Allen goes to Washington, and the future is now.
Yeah,
future is now. The Over the Hill gang, Mason. The Over the Hill gang.
Lombardi too, right? Lombardi went to Washington too, right?
And that was right before George Allen.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And he did well that last year.
He did, and they won a Super Bowl with George Allen.
Yeah.
So the future is now. That might be Aziz's slogan.
Yeah.
He's got a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Friend of the program, Coach Van Acker.
Looks like he's gonna be joining him. Hopefully, Coach Aziz comes on with us. Hopefully, we can talk.
Yeah. Everyone who gets invited to this show wants to come on. You know that.
We try to get every new coach to come on.
We try and get every new coach to come on, and most of them do.
Most of them do.
But the invite's always out.
Yes.
Invite's always out. We love everyone. But yeah, so Aziz, another one we alluded to. Couldn't say it then out of respect. Chantilly.
Chantilly
is
is
now open. We heard it was that Coach Curry had resigned right before our show.
Yeah.
On last week, and
But
then we weren't sure, and we wanted to wait, and then they put it out on Wednesday, so it's official now. Shane, I think it's a good job. You and I both agree on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not as well versed as you, but you said Chantilly's traditionally a pretty big power, and
Yeah, I mean, it's not your grandfather's Chantilly team,
yeah.
right, or your uncle's Chantilly team,
But if you like Chantilly lace,
Chantilly, they do. They love playing Chantilly lace. The Big Bopper.
Big Bopper.
Day the Music died was like 2 weeks ago, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, February 3rd, February 6th.
You be making that up. Making that up, and I just completely agree with you.
Big Richie Valens guy. Richie Valenzuela and his flying guitar. But yeah, Curry, shout out to Curry. He did a good job over there over the years. Former Chantilly player himself.
Yeah.
And now, they go a new direction. And it should be fun to see who takes that job. It's a good school, good youth program,
Absolutely.
Traditionally.
Yeah.
Centerville, like we mentioned.
Yeah, I think we mentioned
We did mention on Coach Shields. So kudos to him. He did a great job over there, and he's going to go, sit by the pool with a little umbrella and the drink and put his feet up.
Yeah.
Right, well deserved, well earned.
Yeah.
And then some schools that are still kind of out there looking: Herndon and Hayfield. We think Wakefield might be the first to hire that bunch.
Possibly. We'll see. And
my money's on Wakefield being the first of the bunch to hire.
Yes, probably. We've heard they've had, although we've heard some interviews. I don't know.
They had interviews.
They had
interviews this past week.
I'm not going to have to talk to the show though, but like, come on.
What's that? Yeah, I know. And then you get into the whole thing of if they hire someone out of county, sometimes those take a while to clear.
They do. Yeah, we found that
and then
out.
You're adding more time to it.
Yeah.
And then obviously we spoke about Robo with Coach Pannoni already.
Right.
And Freedom Woodbridge is still hiring, we think.
It's all open, and I think that's it. Yeah.
So yeah. That might be it for now. I think this is it. We could say it now. We heard Chantilly and Centerville were coming all along.
How many times did we see a job open in March, though? Do you know what I mean?
I know, you're right. There's always that surprise opening. But how many years now you and I heard, Chantilly and Centerville might open up?
Yeah, we've heard that quite a few times.
For years.
Yeah.
So now it happens, and we'll see what happens. I mean, God, Mason, 3 Concord schools.
Will Coach Votzer be the second longest tenured Concord coach?
He is.
Hescock.
Yeah, Hescock. You're right. Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, like, who would have thought three job openings in Concord?
Yeah.
The creme de la creme. Of Nova. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. Well, speaking of great coach, and you mentioned, Concord. You think Concord, you think Counts, you think Vassar, you mentioned Hescock. You think of great coaching, great schools. Well, speaking of great school, and especially a great coach, we got a great one today, don't we, buddy?
Oh, we do. Mr. Virginia.
He is Mr. Virginia.
Yeah.
Coach Mike London Sr. Of William and Mary joining us today. And I think out of all the schools in Virginia, I mean, this William and Mary screams just Nova.
Maybe,
right?
Yeah.
I think because of the academics here in the Nova
I
area.
mean, UVA is not bad.
Yeah, but William and Mary is a notch above.
Yeah.
It's a notch above.
Okay.
It's the creme de la creme. It's the almost Ivy of Virginia.
Oh, okay.
And I just think, that's a kind of school that a lot of these, Nova football players, almost Nova athletes in general, obviously, would love to be a part of.
And quite a few. We have quite a few Nova players there at William and Mary currently.
And we'll talk about some of those guys on the show with Coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. And just leading up to this, I didn't know, his track record and where he had been. And then as we read up on him before the interview, really impressive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Really impressive. I think a lot of Nova parents, Virginia parents in general, are going to really, really kind of dig what he's got to say.
Yeah, no, he's got a lot of interesting stuff to say, and it was a great interview.
Yeah, so let's get to it. Without further ado, the head coach of William and Mary, Coach Mike London. All right, welcome back. We got Coach Mike London Sr., former Richmond head coach, where he won an FCS national championship and coach of the year, former UVA head coach, former Howard head coach, and now, since 2019, the head coach at William and Mary. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Fellas, thanks for having me. As I was saying before, sorry I can't get the video part on it, but hopefully I'm still working on it, trying to get that done. It's like, so we can go face to face here.
No worries, Coach. No worries.
No worries. Well, I was kind of get started. Kind of looking through your bio. I'll just kind of. So myself, I come from Southern California. I come from Long Beach. That's where I grew up. And obviously Southern California in general, Southern California, just the football, factor that's turned out so many players. But when I got here, I was really surprised on the amount of talent comes out of out of the 757. I know you played down in Hampton Roads. Just kind of the talent that comes out of that area, and you being from that area and kind of where you got your football started. I was wondering if you could talk a little about that. Just I was shocked to see, because you don't hear about that, right? You hear about Texas and you hear about Florida, and now you hear about Georgia a lot and California. You hear about these places, but I'd imagine maybe per capita, that might be one of the richest football areas maybe in the nation historically.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm a product of that area, but also before me and after me and all those things like that. I mean, it's been a rich area of talent. I mean, the Allen Iversons of the world, even though he played basketball, Allen Iverson went to Bethel High School, was an all state football player, and then he all state basketball. I mean, you got Michael Vick, just so many other names of players that have really stood out and stand out for their schools, and even going on to the next level. So it is a highly recruited area. There's a lot of success stories that are affiliated and associated with the high schools, down in the 757. And, again, being a head coach, I got to make sure that when I first got here, I said 7 Tribe 7. And I got a lot of coaches that were mad at me. I said, what about 804? That's Richmond. What about 703? That's Northern Virginia. And actually we probably have on this team, we probably have more Northern Virginia kids than we do. And I'd say Tidewater is next after that, because of the associations I've had and coaches on my staff from being down and around that area, and then Richmond and then other areas in the state of Virginia. But I would say that it has an immense amount of talent that's gone on to every level of college, every level, playing in the NFL, the CFL, Arena League, whatever it may be. It's been extraordinary to just kind of be a part of it growing up, and also, as was mentioned, being the head coach at Richmond, head coach at UVA, head coach at Howard, now the head coach here at William and Mary. All those areas, always try to go back and get in those areas that have really good football players.
Well, Coach, you are, Mason and I were talking about this earlier, you are not only Mr. Virginia, you really are. I mean, when you look at the background, Bethel, and then you talk about the time at Richmond and UVA, and then assistant coach William and Mary, and then back at William and Mary again now. You're also Mr. DMV, because you also mix in that, the Howard time as well. That's not a lot of coaches across the country could probably say they're that, kind of embedded with that's the state and area the way you are. It's pretty impressive.
No, I'm a product of the military. My dad was in the Air Force, and so we moved from Hawaii to Virginia, and he was stationed at Langley Air Force Base in Hampton, Virginia. So first couple high school years, I went to Tabb High School, home of where Terry Kirby and Chris Slade, went. And then he retired from the military, and then, moved into the Bethel district, and that's where I graduated and played my final year. But just over the years, having been a coach, my brother went to high school down in there. The London family name, down in Hampton, Virginia, is we've grown up playing the Little League sports, the middle school sports, and all those things. And it's just been, I've been really blessed to have been in a situation where my father coached us all over the world. Basically, we were Air Force, and we were stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany, and Honolulu, Hawaii, California, Libya, Africa. I mean, we've been all over because the military will take you everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I have immense amount of respect for men and women in the uniform, but also being coached by my dad on the air bases there because you couldn't go off base, but they coached, on the air bases. And then you live a certain style of expectation, of conduct, of culture, of all those things. And, and you become part of who you've been exposed to. And, my father's probably the reason why I coach. I'm a passionate, energetic guy. He's no longer with us. He passed a couple years ago. And, but, fellas, I'm always about trying to give the flowers to people now while they're here instead of, later on. And my hat goes off to my pops. I love him dearly, but passion and energy is something you can't control. How you respond, tone and civility will always matter. And I just love doing this. I mean, I just love coaching and teaching. And I've been, and one last thing I'll just say, to have been an assistant coach at Wayne and Mary, which was my first full-time job when Mike Tomlin and Sean McDermott were going to school. Dan Quinn and I were assistant coaches on the same staff, Coach Laycock's staff, man. So we're in the high biker shorts and stuff like that, man, before anything came cool. And then go on to UVA as an assistant for Al Groh. And then, like I said, William and Mary here. And then to have the ability or opportunity to come back as a head coach at all three of those places, Richmond, Virginia, and William and Mary, man, it's been such an honor and a blessing. And I am from this area. But, again, man, faith family football has always been kind of the things I've always talked about. And, there's ups and there's downs in this profession, as we all know. But the ability to influence and talk about faith and your journey, that's what it's all about to me. And hopefully, it continues on.
So you kind of talked about your coaching career, and I kind of want to touch on that a little bit. Some advice. So, a lot of people who listen to our podcast are coaches, and we have a lot of young coaches who kind of want to climb the ladder, right? I mean, some of them don't just want to be a high school coach; they want to move on and go up to the college ranks. What are some advice? What are some things you could tell, young coaches or coaches in general who think they might want to try to move up, into the college ranks? I mean, even farther. 'Cause if I'm not mistaken, you did spend a little time in the pros. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah. I spent a year in the pros with the Houston Texans when Don Capers was the head coach. Charlie Cashley was the general manager. But I would say, I want you guys to picture this: like giraffes eat at the level of their vision. And so if you have like a guy that just knows a certain amount of stuff and he eats at that vision and maybe thinks he knows a lot of stuff. But when you have other people in your life, maybe older, more experienced, could be mentors toward you, can talk about their life experiences and things like that, then they eat at a level of their vision. And hopefully you can grow to a level of understanding. Like I said, tone and civility matters. What comes out of your mouth matters. Being an authentic version of yourself rather than a carbon copy of somebody else, that matters. And so I just think over the years, having been exposed to, again, a guy like Al Groh, Jim Reed at Richmond, he was the head coach that was there. Dal Shealy was was a coach in college, as well as Jim Tate. And, when I was in the league, Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy was a guy that I try to model my coaching career after, in terms of you can be a man of faith. And there's the other side of the pendulum where there's other coaches that are, they're get after it, old school. They won Super Bowls as well, and you can do that and be successful. You just have to choose like who you want to be and what you are, instead of trying to mimic people that you're not. And so I just think over the years, again, having an opportunity to, as you mentioned about being in different places, you craft your own mission statement, or you start to craft your culture in terms of what you want to be about. And then you just be about it. And so people don't care about how much you know till they know about how much you care. And I'm a relationship-oriented guy. So there's a lot of coaches out there that are winning in a lot of different ways and methods. But just been thankful over the years that Pops was a guy that was guiding me. And then the experiences of the different places that I've been.
Yeah, Coach, I can hear it. Mason, I'm ready to go run through a wall right now, buddy. I'll get knocked out and fall backwards, but I'll run into the wall. Coach, you talk about your father's influence and the military background, and a lot of the different coaches you've been around over the years. And Another one and I'm reading here. You were in law enforcement too?
Yeah.
You've done everything.
Well, it's always funny that I tell my players, what does NFL stand for? And they're like, National Football League. I'm no, dude, not for long. Because I was after college, University of Richmond, MVP, and I signed a contract with the Dallas Cowboys. And your audience probably won't even know the name I'm getting ready to mention. That was the head coach, was Tom Landry. And so when after a while, very short while, I ended up getting cut because I was injured, and it was like, wait a minute. And so because my father had always been in the military, and I would see him, at events where he would be surrounded by generals and joint chiefs of staff and all that. I said, man, I could do this. I want to be an FBI agent or Secret Service agent because it was demonstrated to me in terms of what his career was all about. And so after that happened, after I got let loose, I had the occasion to join the Richmond Bureau of Police, and I had to be a police officer. So I started out being a police officer. Imagine this, fella. So I got, I just get released from the Cowboys, and I got my uniform on. It's all tapered to like those muscles and things like that from lifting weights and all that business. And I'm writing tickets, parking tickets someplace. And I'm like, man, I don't know about this, man. So I ended up then getting an opportunity to be a police detective and work in the high crime areas and did undercover surveillance stuff. I mean, yeah, it was crazy. I did. I've seen people do the worst to what. Oh, there I am.
Hey,
Okay.
there he is.
Yeah, so I've seen people do awful things to each other, and so I've had a gun pointed at me, trigger pulled, and not go off. So by the grace of God, I'm sitting here talking to you guys and things like that. But that route of going to having a chance, a short chance in the league, and then experiencing being a police officer. And that's where treating people with dignity and respect came from, when you're trying to craft what your mission statement will be. Because I've seen you might live in a high crime area, but it's not you, the people. It might be a person or a few that are in there that make it like that. But treat everybody with dignity and respect. And so that came out of coaching. But being a police officer, yeah, I was, man, I had the Michael Jackson afro and the puka shells and the platform shoes, and all that stuff like that. But it allows you to understand that people matter, and the way you treat people matter. And so I had an opportunity to learn that segment of it, so it became part of the coaching regimen and what I wanted to do.
Well, I'd imagine that probably influenced you. I mean, in like when you're recruiting, right? When you go into a place to be able to kind of empathize and be where where you go in and meet people at, right? Where you can kind of go in there and if they come from a rough background or whatever else, you've seen kind of where they're coming from, right?
Yeah, the events happen that you forge or form your opinions and ideas. And I just give a quick story. I remember there was a lady in a Richmond project area that had her air conditioning in her front window. Somebody pushed it through, climbed in, stole her TV. So I'm a police detective at that time, and so a uniform officer comes and he's taking a report. And I could kind of tell, he's like, why would you put your air conditioner in the front window? You got a receipt for your TV. It wasn't as professional as you'd like it to be. So after he left, I said, hey, Miss Johnson, listen, I know where their pawn shops are. I know you worked hard to get this. We'll do all we can do. So I'm a detective. About a week later, another detective and I are riding around in the area, and these guys are dealing drugs on the corner. I jump out of the car and I'm running after those guys, and so it's like midnight at night. The guy turns a corner. I'm behind him a little bit, and I turn the corner, can't find him, don't see him. I look up. I didn't know where I was at, but I look up, sitting on the stoop about 25, 30 yards away, was that same lady of a week ago. She's rocking back and forth. And then I look up, she looks at me and she goes, she points to where the guy had hit himself.
Okay.
She didn't say anything, but she points. So I turn around, I look, he's under some trash bins, get him, we arrest him. But my point is, I go all the way back to that encounter with her. If I'd have been like, just not concerned about anything, I would have turned the corner and she probably wouldn't have said anything. But because that moment of treating her with empathy, then she pointed the finger. And I know that my players like, hey, coach, man, stitches get stitches and all that stuff like that. I get it. But it was the right thing to do then. And then it turned out to be the right thing to do later on. So that was what was one of the lessons learned about just not assuming people are a certain way until you get to know them.
Yeah.
We called Coach London for the college stuff. I'm ready to hear all the Starsky and Hutch stories now.
That's a whole nother podcast right there, man. Shoot. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
But I bet you, so a lot of, and to kind of bring this all together with where we're at now and coaching, and I was looking at William and Mary over the years, and because Mason and I coached at Woodson High School, and Woodson High School is, one of the better academic schools. And, we've had some good years, we've had some down years. And you guys right now, you're in the middle of, if I'm correct, the fourth winning season in a row, and first time in almost 30 years.
I think it's like 5 or something like that. And
five now?
Yes, since the 90s or whatever. But, again, a guy that laid the groundwork for that was, again, Coach Laycock just over the years. But, again, having a chance to have been there as an assistant and then having a chance to go back as the head coach. I don't want to talk about, you're replacing an icon. No, I don't want to replace an icon. I just want to continue the aspect of what William Mary has to offer, a world-class degree, be competitive on the field, and then be great citizens because of the network of people, that have gone there. It's crazy, fellas. I know Mike Tomlin stepped away. Sean McDermott is from William Mary. But they end up hiring, Joe Brady. He played at William & Mary. So another guy from here, as a head coach in the NFL. So it's been pretty neat just to kind to watch those guys from afar, but also know if I reached out, text me right back. It's just it's uncanny, but at the same time, I'm very much appreciative of being in a place that, that's had such high quality level coaches. And still going on now.
And actually, I was going to ask you on that note, because there's so many players, so many alumni, and how do you balance like that tradition? How does that work at schools when you got so many guys? Do they come around a lot, or how does that work when there's so many famous alumni at a school and a program?
Yeah, so right now what's going on in college athletics, as it's the pay for play or NIL and things like that. At William Mary, we can't match dollars for some of these schools, so we have to build what a propositional value is. And what I say is, there's an in-state, out-of-state cost of a William Mary, tuition, and after 4 or 5 years of it, that's say $350,000, $400,000, you're not paying taxes on that as you would with NIL money. We're not paying an NIL agent that's going to get 10 to 15 to 20% of that. But what you're connected to is not only guys that are in the NFL, but also CEOs and presidents of companies that hire William & Mary graduates because of the things that the degree stands for. And so that's the propositional value for us is, no, you're not going to get, you might get a couple bucks for a Wawa sandwich, but that's about it. That's all you're going to get. But the value of the education, the connection of the people that are, in the fields of banking, finance, and industry, and agriculture, whatever it is. And I'll tell this one last thing. So on Friday nights before the game, normally how you have the highlight tape and coaches are throwing chairs around and biting chicken heads off and headbutting people, getting concussions and stuff. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. So we bring in like speakers, lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs, how they did it. They were players. This is the track that I went. After they're done, here's my email, here's my phone number. If you need any help from that. So that's what we do on those Fridays prior to a game because, again, we play on Saturday the next day. And I'm a passing, energetic guy, as you guys can tell. But sometimes, like all that rah-rah stuff, you just got to call a timeout to it. And I want to give them opportunities to see the alumni that are coming back, speak to them in terms of where they've been, how they got there, and know that they had to practice and they had the injuries and they had all the issues that that they have, today. But so that's part of the propositional value that we've had. And I've had some players leave, but I've had a lot of players stay as well. Charles Grant, was a third round pick with the Raiders.
Yep.
He stayed. A couple other guys, they stayed. You lose a couple, but at the same time, my wife was like, stop worrying about the guys that leave. Worry about the ones that stay and that want to come. And so that's my focus right now.
Well,
Charles Grant, by the way, I got to tell him, Mason, Charles Grant, because coach, you see it back here. You see it back here.
Oh,
snap. When he started playing really well, and a lot of Raider fans, my son, we watched games ago. He's like, Coach, Dad, why isn't Coach putting him in? He should have been playing all season. That's another conversation for another day. But
it'll come.
He should have been playing. A lot of those guys from that team should have been playing earlier.
Yeah, it'll come. But yeah, I mean, him and Nate Lynn, Kobe Sorsdale that's playing for the Lions, and I just go over a bunch of names. But they're not only coaches in the NFL; they're general managers, they're scouts, they're player personnel people, but they're also people in sports management. So that's kind of worked. That's kind of been the thing that's working for us. We have our niche. We're an academic school, and I'm proud of it. I'm not shying away from anything, but I'm just excited about the opportunity to continue on, keep chasing championships, but watching these guys walk across the stage and get their degree.
Yeah, I mean, it is a fantastic academic school. Oddly enough, it's one of the schools my daughter wants to tour. My daughter is a smart student, unlike her dad, who was not a smart student. But it's one school she said she wants to go to. So maybe when I get down there, I'll try to.
Please do. Yeah, please do. Please do. Let's connect.
So I guess you're kind of talking about what you guys offer as a school, but as we're all finding out, recruiting and college and is a different world now. We live in a different world than we lived in even 5-6 years ago. I was wondering, and a lot of parents listen to the show. Maybe they have the kids going through recruiting for the first time. They're not sure how this works. And they're talking to coaches. I've been coaching high school football for 22 years now, and it's different. It's completely different in the way the approach now that coaches come into them. So I was wondering if you could just talk a little about, maybe have the changes now, or kind of advice you would give parents who are looking to, and not necessarily just Amelia Mary, but just college in general. What are some things you would tell them to do? Just kind of the different landscape we live in now.
Yeah, I would say what got your son here won't get them there. And so what happens? There's a lot of people that, and I get it. There are a lot of people out there that want to represent themselves as being people that help your son move to the next level. Well, if your son's already in a culture of where you're talking about, how to become financially literate, we have a thing called Real Talk on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Right now we're in spring practice. So we go every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have a thing called Real Talk. We talk about dating, tough interviews, financial literacy, that 15 story, you get on the elevator with the CEO of a company, what are you going to say? So by the time you get to the 15th floor, what you've said will resonate with him. We talk about life issues. We talk about, sexual assault, violence, all those things, because it's real life things. And so when you do that, you have an opportunity to invest in not just what happens on the field, to all the other areas in their life. So what happens when people throw money around at you, all of a sudden you forget about all those things. And I get it. There's some people that need, that financial assistance right away. But again, we just keep harping at the fact that, build yourself in a way that you're going to be capable of handling money and the people or things that want to come after you. Because there's always going to be somebody that wants to come after you. Offer a guy $400,000, but they give you $250 first. And the other $250 is based on production, is based on what you do, your stats. God forbid you get hurt. So now you get $250,000. Now you got to pay half of that to taxes. And then all of a sudden you got to pay other people. The other $250 you're not going to get because you can't play, because it's based on, your production and stats and things like that. So to educate them on, the grass is not always greener on the other side, because it needs mowing over there too, and so we just trying to talk about those things that give value to being where you are, but being educated to the fact that, when you have money coming in, all of a sudden you got a lot of new best friends.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're trying to take care of the whole player, the whole kid, and their kids, coming in right now. And I think a lot of times, when you're talking about big NIL money, $250,000 sounds like a lot of money. It does, but like you said, half of it goes to Uncle Sam, and then you're at 125. I mean, and like here in Northern Virginia, you couldn't buy a house for $125,000. Maybe you might be able to put a down payment, and then I mean, a car is going to cost you this, and that money is fleeting. And I think unfortunately we live in a world right now where they throw this money out from them, and it's probably more money than a lot of kids have ever seen, right? But in reality, when you look at the expectation of what it can actually do, is not very much.
Yeah, I'm not in their circumstances or their shoes, and I know it's personal decisions that are made. But when you look at it, like there's a statistic, I think like over 80% of the guys that go in the portal, they don't get exactly what they're looking for, what they want. They end up going back down another level. And at our place, I just said, listen, dude, if you go in the portal, you can't find what you want, and then you want to come back. I got walk-ons, those Hayfall members that I mentioned about. I got other guys that stayed and stuck it out. I'm like, you're not coming back. And so that's the culture of, because you want to go out there. It's like you ask your wife to date you and marry you, and you say, oh, before you say anything, let me go date, some other people and stuff like that. No, it's like we made a commitment to you to us, and we expect that to be, the thing that's going to get both of us through. And my promise to them, or the value to them, is to utilize the degree, the network, and all those things like that I've seen just do tremendous things.
Yeah.
So, Coach, we talk about you mentioned earlier being an academic school, and it is great academics. To bring it back to Nova, right? We start talking about Fairfax and Loudoun and Prince William. I do have to ask you, Prince William, Arlington, Alexandria. I don't know where you. This is a topic on this show. It is the Nova Football Podcast. Where your cutoff is for Nova. This is a hot topic around these parts. Where is it no longer Nova? Where is it? Is it Richmond for you? Where's that cutoff, Coach?
You can blur the lines of King's Dominion right there, being right around that area and going up and stuff like that. Quantico, up around that area. But yeah, it is. You're right. I mean, you can. It's the same arguments in Richmond. Is it where's Petersburg? Petersburg, right. Richmond.
Right.
Stuff like that. But again, the coaches that are up there, the Bill Browns, the Legacies, guys that have been around there, Francis Dahl, and all those. I mean, it's like, man, it's phenomenal up there, and there's a lot of individuals that are other teams as well, our basketball teams, other teams, that they get a lot of really good student athletes from up there, and the name is known up there. And again, you can call that, when I was at Maryland one year, the DMV area, that kind of thing. So, and that's another very highly popular area of recruiting. There's a lot of cool schools will go there as well. But Northern Virginia has been really good to this team, to this program. We've had a lot of really good players come out of there, and I was at Virginia, still coming out of there. Howard, obviously, being up in the DC area there, and then U of R when I was there. So a lot of great talent, and it's great that you guys emphasize and have a platform to celebrate the kind of football that's going on up there, because there's a lot of legacies up there as well.
What do you think it is? I mean, you think it's because there was that fit, right, with North Virginia, the DMV area in general, and a school like William and Mary. What do you think makes it that good fit? I mean, is it the access to the government and all the things that come with being so close to DC? That's probably part of it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's you have military families that may move in, or professional families that may move in and around the area, if not in DC, then outside Alexandria or wherever it may be. And so there are professional families that are there, military families. I mean, on our roster this year, we got two kids whose dads are 2-star generals. I got a kid whose dad is a 4-star general. And what they know, again, is the value of a William & Mary degree in education. So there's a lot of military kids from up there, but even from around the country, because they gravitate towards, those kind of opportunities. And so I just think, just over the years, the proven commodity year after year has also bolstered that as well. And you've seen great players come out of that area, and great coaches as well. So it's a lot of young people up there that. And here's the other thing that I like is sometimes you got to go other places to recruit. You might be the only person talking about William & Mary in that school. When you go to some of the schools up around there might be a teacher, a principal, or somebody up there that, oh yeah, I know where. And then all of a sudden you got another recruiter that's up there, not necessarily for athletics, but talking about the virtue of the degree and the education. So when you have that kind of people all around kind of talking about, the profits and the value of it, then that helps tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, having that William & Mary degree, right? I mean, that means something. Walking out of there 4 years with a William & Mary degree means a lot. Especially like being close to DC and all those things. I mean, the amount of networking I think you talked about before just is invaluable.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think one of the things we pride ourselves on, I think 18 out of the last 19 years, federal graduation rate, like William & Mary student athletes have led the country. And that's unbelievable. But it gives, again, value proposition to the school. And listen, fellas, as you know, there are some GPA requirements, and so I'm not saying if you don't have the GPA, then you can't go to another place and get an education. You can. There are a lot of really good schools out there. I'm just saying that the GPA requirement, the test scores, or the class ranks, the classes that you take, it matters. And at a place like this, but again, the opportunity to go someplace and get a college education, that's critical, number one. But then, when you're in a situation, we're going to the Patriot League now, along with, Richmond, who's in it this past year, Villanova, who's left with us. And then we're playing Holy Cross and Georgetown and all those schools. So there's another level of an academic part of it, what you stand for, and just live with it and say, we embrace this. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And also, I mean, brought up the players, not only to get the academic, but you can get to the next level. You can get to the next level getting a 4-year degree at a fantastic university and have and play good enough football to go get yourself off the next level as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the other thing is I've been doing this for a while, as you guys know, and so I've been head coach at Richmond and UVA. I remember Coach Grove was the head coach at that time, but I was coaching Chris Long, and he invited me to the green room up at Radio City, New York, man. And it's just like, but the sum total of those experiences, knowing a Charlie Casserly and other guys, Joe Douglas, and it's just Morgan Moses was at Virginia when I was there, left tackle for the Patriots. But you build all those relationships over the years, the general managers that the scouts that the area scouts or whatever it may be. You build those relationships, and then the relationship or the reputation that the school has, because then you have a relationship. Ross Dallin is on my staff. He was a second-round draft pick for the Patriots when Bill Belichick was the head coach, and Ross is now the D coordinator. And Daryl Blastock is on my staff, played when I was at Virginia. He played 7 years in the league. Keenan Carter, and I can go on and on. Perry Jones. So there's guys that have played for me at other places, but they went on and played at the highest level. And now you're at a school that talks about the academics, but you also have the guys that are coaching and teaching you have played in the league. And I'd say that the value of the staff and the degree and just the network of things, that's what's working for us right now. I thank God that, that you got to have a good staff. I got a great staff, but also what is it there? I don't want to use selling as a word, but what is it you have to offer young men now that the portal or that, money now can exchange hands and things like that. So we just say, listen, we don't have a whole lot of money, but we do have is this, and this. And a lot of guys are saying, okay, that's good enough. I'm ready.
Yeah, a lot of schools can't match that. That what you guys offer. A lot of people can match money, right? Some of these big boys can, but they can't match that, right? And that says a lot, Let me ask you this, Coach. For a lot of the parents that in our audience, because you hear a lot of information, misinformation, but when we're talking about again, your conference and your rivals and you guys are kind of great Nova, like you said. I mean, a lot of your roster are Nova school. What were you think on top of your head, if the average now that schools in your conference are bringing in of their recruiting class are high school kids as opposed to transfer guys?
That's a great question because I know, in the Patriot League right now, you can't have like a grad transfer. You know what I mean? So you would have to matriculate it through your school and then and out. But it's call me old school, whatever it is like that. But we signed 10 in December, high school kids, and we signed another, I believe, 6 or 7. Because here's what's happened. Here's the other part of this, and we kind of fit in the pendulum. A lot of schools are going for, the FBS transfer portal guy who's a junior or a sophomore, redshirt sophomore that's 6'5", 2 whatever already. And if you think about it, like before, if you weren't doing that, that high school kid that, 2, 3-star, whatever, he would normally be recruited by those schools. But because now everybody's like, I'm going to go in the portal. Yeah. I'm going to get this guy. He's already ready-made. He played. Then there's some guys that are like, man, how did we get this guy? You get him, and then you develop him. Yep. He turns into being a really good player. And so that's kind of what's happened a little bit. I would tell parents, I mean, it is a tough time to be a parent if you want your son's education be prepared to be paid for. But at the same time, there are those opportunities if there's a fit that your son can go to a school that get the education, get the opportunity, be coached by guys that have been in the league, and then have a chance to grow and develop. And so I'm seeing that happen a little bit now as well. Just if I'm a parent, just stay patient. I know it's hard, but everybody wants to go get that quick fix right now. And then the other thing, that quick fix, it might not be the fix that you want when he gets in your locker room, because if a guy's not playing and you brought him in there from the portal, then all of a sudden division comes from within. And, he's talking about playing time. He wants to fight other players or fight the coach. And then now you got that thing in the locker room that you have to deal with. And I still know a lot of coaches in the FBS. That's one of the things that's happening is the division, from within. And then, that's why they get 4 or 5 other guys the same position. Because if you don't work out, we're going to bring somebody else in. And if you don't work out, then, that's when you start having issues.
Yeah. I mean, it just feels like it's become so much of a business. Oddly enough, I had a friend of mine. He went to one of those big recruiting trips, and he said that they heard from the coach at Prairie View, and the coach at Prairie View said out loud, "We recruit grown men now. We don't recruit kids anymore. We don't recruit grown men." And I coaching spot, I get it, right? I tell people all the time. We were talking to some other people. I said my 20-year-old self could have really beat the hell out of my 18-year-old self. I just because of the time, right? And I get it. But I think when hearing coaches like you who are like, I'm bringing in, 20, 21 high school kids. If I'm a parent, that tells me he's trying to recruit, he's trying to develop players. Yeah. He's not just trying to go for quick fixes. So I commend you on that.
No, yeah. And again, I understand what some coaches say. You want to be in grown men, but like I said, you bring in the grown man's temperament. You bring in that grown man's. Everybody has like like a bag over their shoulders, and you're bringing all your issues and things with you. Or when you're a coach, about those things. You got mental health and wellness. You got your nutritionist. You got how do you build your body? Like I said, the Real Talk Tuesday, Thursdays. You know that about the player, but you also know that maybe there was an issue where Pops is not in his life, and all of a sudden because he's playing, Pops wants to be in his life. You got to deal with those things. If you don't, and you just take the player for his talent, he's bringing that backpack of stuff with you. And if you can't handle that, because you're going to have other players with the same backpack of issues as well, then all of a sudden you're going to have issues. And so you got a grown man, but you got a grown man with a lot of issues that you got to deal with.
And his eye is also out the door, right? If you took him and came to William Mary, and he's moved on from a smaller school to your school, you got to be worried. He's already got one foot out the door, being like, oh, can I get that? Can I get that? They're not Power 5 anymore. Power 4, right? Can I get that offer, right? Just kind of the loyalty thing is kind of gone as well, unfortunately. And not
yeah. But like I said, I just think that what's happening for those high school kids that here's the other thing. So even the rules in the NCAA, you can go to junior college, spend 2 years there, and then still have 4 years of eligibility before you go to junior college, and you only have 2 years left going to college. Now you can have 4 years, and you got people suing the NCAA for a 6th or 7th, 8th year. So I don't know where it stops, but I know where I am, where our feet are,
Yeah.
and I'm just dealing with that part of it. I know, something hopefully will eventually be done, whether it's the NCAA or Congress or people just realizing that what are we doing?
It, it's it's unsustainable, right? And unfortunately, and when I hear about kids transferring out as juniors, or enter senior year, you're like, you can't take your units with you. You're gonna be 4 years done, and you're not gonna be able to get a degree. Like most colleges won't take your junior year stuff. So I mean, yeah, there's an answer somewhere. I'm not smart to figure that out. Hopefully, people who are smarter than me can figure it out, but I'm sure there's an answer somewhere.
Yeah, it's all good. But again, just got to be where your feet are,
Yeah.
and that's where it is. Because like I said, the grass may be greener on the other side, but in terms of growth and development, how about just watering the grass that you're standing on? How about pouring into those kids that decide to stay and things like that? And so that's the propositional value that we keep talking about, and and live with it and roll.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, Coach, as like I said earlier, Mr. Virginia, did you have a chance to catch? I know you guys were in the middle of a season, but did you catch it at all into the Oscar Smith match? We thought it was the game of the year, probably the state semifinal. Did you catch any of that at all?
I did not, but there's players, as you can imagine. You've been a head coach at UVA, Richmond, and William Mary. There's players on both sides of that. So yeah, it was a bunch of stuff going on back and forth. But yeah, good programs for sure. I was just at the Richmond Touchdown Club up in Richmond, Virginia, and they celebrated their athletes that had was first team, second team, and a lot of coaches were there. Coach Elliott from UVA was there. Coach Franklin from Virginia Tech was there. Coach Huseman from Richmond was there. Lot of coaches. And my staff, myself and Perry Jones, we were there, but celebrating the success of the programs that are in the state, and it's been really neat to see the success, but also knowing so many coaches from all over the state that I've grown up knowing or worked with right alongside of, recruited their players or whatever it may have been. So it's been really cool.
Well, awesome. When coaches kind of talk about this in recruiting Virginia, what are some of the things as far as brand, right? The brand of 703 ball versus the brand of 757. Some of the comparisons, some of the differences you guys look at between the two styles of play.
Well, I mean, 804 is up there in Richmond because you got really good schools up there.
Yeah.
Highland Springs, Varina, I was just up there. Benedictine. There's so many schools that are up there. The brand is knowing the coaches and the coaches that coach tough, hard, but have disciplined programs. And so the brand, and then it also is knowing you, where they feel comfortable enough to say, I'm gonna co-sign on the kid coming to you as well, so I can talk to the parents about what you guys done for a player 2, 3, 5, 6, or 7 of mine in the past. And so that all ties into propositional value once again. The element of knowing the really, really good coaches, the legacies, the areas, the emphasis put on academics, athletics, all those things have to come into play. But like I said, I've been really fortunate that Northern Virginia, Tidewater, Richmond, those areas have been stellar student athletes coming out of those areas and coming to William & Mary.
That's awesome. Well, first of all, I should have said 571 too. Sometimes that's the
don't forget 571. That's right.
Mace's a 571 guy because he came into the area late. So if you're late to the area, you got 5. I'm a 703 guy, so it's a little bit of somber there. Yeah. But that's something that we talk about a lot, and we talk about here just a little bit different, right? We talk about watching the game and watching the speed. That Oscar Smith Madison game, and watching kind of the running style of Madison. And then watching was it Lonnie Andrews, right? The coach, the quarterback and then watching him. I mean, it was completely it was like watching like old school Bill Parcells ball, and then it was like watching, who had the great offense this year in the NFL, whoever it was. But it was just two contrast styles, and it was fun to watch. It's not always like that, but that was just kind of the match that we got in that state semifinal. So it ended up being kind of fun to watch.
No, it's pretty cool, and it's funny. I still stay in contact with Coach Groh. and he's straight up football, man. He's one of the best football minds I know.
Parcells got right there.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. Romeo Crennel, Parcells, Eric
Right.
Mangini, Charlie Weiss, all those guys. But he started talking about like the analytics of all the stuff. When you get down there, kick a field goal, or you have. I use the example. So Charles Grant, All-American left tackle, and it's 4th and 3. We go to analytics, and it says we're 99%, accurate in making that. But I'm like, what the analytics don't have is if Charles Grant is hurt, he's out, and his backup Jimmy Cephalo goes in there, and all of a sudden that running that 17 power it's not going to have the same analytic feel to it because it's different. There is a lot of times about the who and the what that's in that position, or who you put the ball in his hands, or who's blocking, and those things. And so you use the analytics that you have, but also you got to think players first rather than plays.
Yeah, I think it's funny with the who and the what. I've told the story before. I got to work for a summer with the run game coordinator who was at Kansas State when Darren Sproles was there, and he said they were in there late on a Saturday night and Sunday morning into Monday morning, drawing up all the stuff, and they have all these fantastic plays drawn up. And the head coach, I can't think of the head coach of Kansas State at the time. Bill Self, is that right? My Bill Self, I think that was the head coach at Kansas State.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. He walks in, he goes, "Yeah, how many plays go to Sproles?" And they're like, "Well," he was like, "Yeah, give me more plays that go to Sproles. Let's draw some of those plays up."
No doubt, man. No doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
And before we go, Coach, you mentioned the Richmond. Richmond was it Touchdown Club? Richmond.
Up in Richmond, Virginia. Yes.
Well, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you your thoughts on kind of the topic, soup du jour here in the DMV, with the Washington Post, sports section, and the All Met, the honors there kind of maybe going away. They're trying to figure that out. But what are your thoughts on, if any, on did you hear about this?
No, I have not.
So with the Washington Post kind of getting rid of their sports section, they got rid of the entire sports section. The Washington Post gone just like that. Isn't that wild? That's unbelievable, right? This is the day and age we live in, right? It's crazy. And Mason and I have been talking this all week. We grew up reading Kornheiser and Wilbon, right, and all this stuff. And with that, one of the biggest honors here in the DMV, right, is the All Met team. Now, Scott Van Pelt was on his show yesterday, and he said that some of the Post writers, even though we're calling former Post writers, I guess we'll say now, they're going to band together and still do we're in the middle of winter season here. They're going to do a winter, that the Post wants to pick it up or not, they're going to do an All Met team for the basketball. But going to next fall, they're really, as of right now, there's no All Met team for the DMV. That's crazy.
Wow, I've never heard of that. Yeah, an area is so strong in in that the athletic part of that. Maybe, I don't know, freelance bloggers, or I don't know. It's just maybe something will a group of men or people will coalesce and say, listen, we got to keep this tradition alive, because sometimes when things die off, people are the ones that can bring it back. And the benefit of, as you guys over the years, like I said, the guys at Francis Dahl, Bill Brown, just all those guys over the years, just like you want to keep those legacies living and alive.
Yeah.
That's it. Well said. Great. Coach, thanks for joining. This was awesome.
No problem, man. This is great. Sorry for the little snafu, but it's good to be on. And man, I'd love to be on then maybe during the season or something like that.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
it would be amazing. I know
we have some guys on the team, right? We have some guys that we cover. Is Kai Austin? Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Our guy Kai, and then Aiden Reed,
Al Honesty, Xavier. I mean, there's dudes, man. They're going through spring practice right now, and they look good.
That's awesome. Love to hear that. Nova coming strong.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, hey, good luck the rest of the off season. Keep doing your thing. It's inspirational hearing it, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate you having me on, and be well.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thanks,
care.
Coach. All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Welcome back. Are you ready to strap him up and play for that man?
I am. I mean, what a great story.
Yes.
If that guy walked into your living room, that guy's more to the front of the list, right?
Put the how great of a school that is, institution that is, William & Mary. Put that to the side for a second, just like you said, just going by him and him. I'm sold.
Yeah.
Former, I mean, a great character. The former police officer, former detective, the military background, talking about his dad. The man loved his dad and talked about his dad like that.
No, it was
I
really impressive.
loved it.
And it seems like he's trying to build a program for young men. He's not just cycling through, going through the portal. Like he's actually bringing in kids at 18 and trying to develop into young men, which I think when you're sending your son off to somebody, that's the kind of gentleman you want to have, influence your kid, right?
Yeah, it's bringing in and still bringing a lot of high school players.
Yeah.
Right, which a lot of people don't do anymore.
Yeah.
He values the high school players.
Yeah, and trying to give them tools in life, right? Where he's bringing in people to talk to them about how to become a man, right? Which is
right.
I think is really important.
Yeah. Any parents out there, any football players out there that are, looking at schools, and you got to have the grades.
Yeah.
You can't be just a jabroni, right? You got to have the grades. But if you got the grades and you can play ball, that's a school that needs to be on your list now.
1,000%.
Right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, I mean, you talk about a career moving forward, right? I mean, how long does football last at the end of the day?
Right.
Right? For what, 99% of
99. I mean, not even that, right? 99.9, right?
Right. You got a woman married degree.
Oh.
Like we said, essentially an Ivy League school.
Yeah.
You're good to go. You got the Willy Wonka golden ticket, my man.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And just a good guy. And talking about all the coaches he's been around. Mason, the man was around Tom Landry.
Mike Tomlin, Dan Quinn. How many Super Bowls has that guy been around?
Yes. He got invited. Here's all you need to know. He was invited to the green room for Chris Long.
Yeah.
Chris Long, my guy, son of Howie. I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah. And if you're a position coach, you're invited to that draft day green room, you're a pretty important guy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, 1,000%.
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, that was great. And he might come on later during the season, which will be exciting.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And he's got big things going during the season. Bigger things than you and I do, buddy. Yeah. We got the Friday night spotlight show going. He's got freaking actual games to coach.
Yeah.
Against real schools.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man. Good stuff. I really enjoyed that. I hope everyone out there got a chance to see that, share it. That one, any parents, coaches, players in this area that are serious about their academics and serious about playing college football in the state of Virginia, that's one you need to check out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, buddy. Well, we take a break for a week. Let me give you a week off.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Week off on me.
Take a vacation from your life, huh?
Take a vacation from your problems.
Yes.
A lot of big stuff coming up on the horizon. Like we said, you got Coach Aziz will be coming on down the road.
Hopefully.
To talk about hot off the press. Talk about Oakton.
Yeah.
We got 7-on-7s are coming. 100 miles an hour, Mesa.
Pretty soon.
They're coming. As soon as the ice melts, they're coming. No grass 7-on-7s for a long time.
I mean, nothing on the turf, right? Every time I drive by high school, I look at the turf, and the turf is.
So good stuff. And everyone enjoy the long weekend, right? You got happy President's Day. Go buy a mattress. Isn't that what?
Tax free, right? Let's do tax free on President's Day.
I don't know. I have no idea. But I always see like mattress day, President's Day sales.
Yeah.
Go buy a mattress. Once every 10 years, they should buy a mattress. So take it for what it's worth. All right, buddy. Well, speaking of mattresses, I think it's time for me to take a nap. And I'll see you next week, my friend.
Yep. See you next week.
All right, everyone. From Dan to Dan, all Hitches. See you next time.
See you.